My name is Pedro Romero. I'm the chief of Safer Gambling Partnerships at BetBlocker. And we are a charity that helps people affected by gambling-related harm to create a little bit of a barrier between themselves and gambling websites. BetBlocker was founded to support people that were struggling with gambling. The founder, Duncan Garvie, decided to create this blocker in 2017 to help people because he had a website and a lot of people, they were asking for help. They were coming with problems related with gambling, and he thought back then that why not creating a blocking software that was free and fully anonymous. BetBlocker has at the moment two services. The first one is the standard blocking software. So anyone that is affected by gambling related harm can download the app and install it, and then they will be stopped from accessing gambling website. There's also another service that we provide that is the calendaring feature. The calendaring feature is a harm minimization tool rather than an abstinence tool. What it does is allows people that they may be struggling with gambling, but they don't want to stop completely, is to help them manage a little bit better their gambling behavior. For example, so imagine that you have a person that struggles with gambling after payday. He gets a lump sum of money sitting on his account before he pays his mortgage, car, or whatever. And then what it does is, okay, they can decide, I want to block myself for, these 2 days. Or maybe someone that is going out with his friends or something, and he's worried that after a couple of drinks, they may end up spending a little bit too much. So what they can do is to block themselves on a Saturday. We're also in the process of implementing a new feature, which is called the scheduler. And this feature, what it will do is to allow people to block themselves for certain periods of time. So imagine that you don't want to gamble after 10 p.m. So you can block yourself. And the good thing about BetBlocker is that blocks regulated and unregulated gambling websites. So it helps far and beyond where national self-exclusion go. So it's a really good complement, for that.
How do you measure success and adoption worldwide? What indicators or feedback tell you the tool is making a difference?
For us, one of the main indicators of success of BetBlocker is the really big amount of people that they are using our free and anonymous software. Recently, we reached over 160 active users since the beginning of the year. So this is not downloads, this is people that they are using actively BetBlocker, that they're getting blocked from accessing websites. For us, the most important thing is that people are using it and that we're growing a lot. So it's very rewarding to see that we can help people in need.
So the app is free for users. How does the charity stay sustainable, and where does the funding come from?
We receive funding from different sources. We, in the UK, until very recently, we had the RED system. So the UK Gambling Commission was asking everyone that holds a gambling license to support charities and other organizations that they were on this red list. Recently the model has changed in the UK. Now there's a levy that goes to the NHS, UKRI and other OHIT, and then they'll be distributing the funding. But at the moment, there's not much clarity on how this is going to work. So we still rely on operators, but also on other organizations. For example, GamCare, ROGA in the US. So we're happy to partner with anyone that wants to help minimize gambling-related harm.
Thank you. Can the users bypass the protection to access gambling sites, either online or offline? And how do you address those scenarios?
Okay. I mean, unfortunately, there's not a silver bullet. If a person is really determined to gamble, they're going to find a way around. The easiest way for a person to find a workaround is, they can go and buy a new device if they're not tech savvy. But nothing is infallible. We offer really good protections, and this is something that is really important for us. But the way we see BetBlocker is as an additional barrier, as additional safeguard. So people, they may have a wobble. They are in recovery or trying to, gamble a little bit less. And what they do is, they install BetBlocker. Imagine that you have an urge, you try to access a gambling website, you blog, and then people may feel relief. Oh, I'm happy that, I didn't relapse. If someone is really determined, to go through the blogs, they can, find a way, but it's going to take them a good couple of hours in most of the cases.
What data, if any, does the app collect, and how do you ensure user privacy and security?
I mean, this is a really important question, and this is one of the reasons why BetBlocker is fully anonymous. We don't collect any personal information, and to have BetBlocker in your device, you don't need to open an account. We don't need your email, we don't need your name, we don't need a payment method because, it's free. So this is the best way to ensure that a group of hackers, they're not going to hack into our database and get a lot of information. What we think is that, look, if you get the banks, the intelligence services, LinkedIn and other platforms hacked from time to time, it would be reckless, for any organization to have a list of vulnerable people that they are likely to spend a lot of money if an online, unethical casino was to get their details.
You maintain an evolving list of operator domains. How do you handle new or unknown sites to reduce the chance that a player reaches a site not yet in your database?
Okay, we have, three main barriers. The first one is we have a software that crawls, main websites looking for new names. Then we also partner with artificial intelligence firm, that is scanning the internet and report to us any new website that they detect. But then we have, a really additional support. That is a feature that we have in our app that is report a gambling website. So imagine that you're a player, in Indonesia, and you install BetBlocker, and maybe there's an Indonesian gambling website that we don't have. You can report it through report the website link, and then it will be reviewed by our tech support and will be blocked. So basically, with so many users, we have created a collaborative community that help to protect each other. So that's also one of our advantages.
Is the app open source today, or are there any plans to open the code for greater transparency in the future?
We are a charity, so we're not open source, and I think this is important because probably if it was open source, there'll be a lot of information that maybe could be used in a negative way by some unethical companies. So imagine that, we have all the lists of the website that we block, and you have a gambling website. Okay, let's open, a new domain that is not here.
Do you see any opportunities to collaborate with GameStop or similar self-exclusion and safer gambling initiatives? And what would effective collaboration look like for players and operators?
We're open always to collaborate with anyone. Why? Because we think that at the end of the day, the more visibility you have, the more likely that a person that is affected by gambling-related harm may be able to gain awareness of the service. We work with different organizations, with some regulators, and with a lot of operators. There's organizations, that they are very against working with operators, but we see that, for a person that is struggling with gambling, that they are likely to be in a gambling website, the shortest road is, okay, if they have the BetBlocker logo in the footer, or if the support staff that are aware about our software, they can refer them to us. We would be also really happy to work with any national self-exclusion service, because we think it's a good combination. And I think also, being fully anonymous and free, it's an additional reassurance, for people that may be struggling and may be insecure about giving their data away.
Looking ahead, what are your top priorities on the product and charity side? And what should users and industry partners expect next?
At the moment, our main focus is to keep developing, because it's not ready, the scheduler feature. We will hopefully be launching in the next few months. And also, to keep having visibility and to help as many people struggling with gambling that we can.
Thank you very much for the interview.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much.